Hey, I'm going to show you all about Powtoons today, and I'm going to give you an introduction to what Powtoons is and how I use it and how to use and create a Powtoon video. So I use it in teaching, and this has been very beneficial for me during this time of online learning because you're able to create these really fun videos that really kind of makes learning come to life for the students. And there's a free version of Powtoons, and then you can also pay to get like a pro version and then a pro plus version as well. But I've been doing just fine with the free version. Just something that you should know before we begin. When you're creating a Powtoon video with the free version, the max amount of minutes that you can create is a 3-minute video. So like this would be kind of great too, is if you're giving this assignment to students and really make sure that they have a time limit for creating their video. But that also means that when I make my videos, it really puts a time limit on what I want to make as well. So I usually use it within that time limit of 3 minutes to give quick explanations for certain phenomenon or concepts that we're going over in class, or I use it as a very quick review for the students. So when we go back to class, when we're teaching in person, I can see myself still using this for that kind of, for that reasoning and to be able to mainly create good review videos for the students that aren't getting it. So let me log in so that you guys can see what the screen's going to look like. So I just log in with Google. And this is going to take us to our home screen. So here on the left, right here is your menu. So when you want to create a new Powtoon, you can create it from a template. You can import it from a PowerPoint because, as you'll see in a moment, when you're creating a Powtoon, it has a very similar format to creating a PowerPoint. So you can import your PowerPoint slides, or you can create from scratch. Here we have a personalized screen for you, so you can customize it based off of your preferences. I'm a teacher, so I chose Edu. And then down here, some more recommended templates for you that they make for you. So those would be trending, new, and most popular. Here on the right is your Toolbox, where you have your Powtoon creations, the Learning Center, and apps and integrations. And then down here on the bottom left is where, if you're struggling, you have the help button and a tour of Powtoons as well that you can take. To give you an idea of how I've used this in my class, let me show you a Powtoon that I made. I was using this to show the students about water as I was giving them an introduction into states of matter, and as we were finishing up and talking about chemical reactions. So as this starts up, and it's loading, so I liked it a lot because I could have like a little mini me in there to explain whenever I wanted to explain. And then I can give a nice visual of different points. I could have cute little caricatures of oxygen and hydrogen. So I made those guys, as well as create kind of like a slide, essentially, to explain oxygen and hydrogen. So again, as you can kind of see, this is really making like a PowerPoint slide come to life a lot more by creating a lot of fun graphics that come with it. The thing that I really liked about this the most was that I was really able to show how these atoms combine together to create water, and to really give them a visual for balancing chemical equations in this aspect. And so that's what I liked about Powtoons, and that's what I liked that I was able to show with the students of how we balance equations and why we need to balance them. So let's go back to our home screen and let's create one. So I'll start you guys off with a template. That would be the easiest place to start. So let me click on templates. Then you get to the screen. You have all Powtoon templates here, and then they have categories up at the top. So I'm going to search through for education, and I'm going to click that one. So as you'll notice as you go through this, again, there's going to be some that are free. They'll have nothing in the bottom right-hand corner. Then if you have the Pro Plus version, then it'll have the Pro Plus over there at the bottom right-hand corner as well. And if you just have the Pro version, then that would be the white Pro box. So let's go find one, and we'll do the teacher introduction. So when you click on a template, it's kind of nice because it'll give you a video preview of what that template looks like. So if you like it, then you click Edit this template. So as that loads up, and it loads up its awesomeness, then we're given a template that we can edit from. And then I'll go over the different screens that Powtoon uses to create the videos. So here in the center, this is your stage. So as you may notice, this may look kind of similar to PowerPoint. So here we have our stage. This is where we can move all the objects here around. We can resize them. We can, if we double click on the text, we can edit the text. We can change the text font. We can change the size, color, opacity, effects. These effects are enter and exit. So when it enters onto the stage or onto the screen, these are all the different effects that it can have. You can have exit effects as well. All different fun things that you can use. And the really nice thing about Powtoons is that if you hover over these effects, it'll give you a small preview of what they look like. So that's really nice. Let me exit out of that. And then you can also arrange them into different arrangements onto the screen. So if you want to bring it to the front or the back, it based off of their layers. So that is the stage. Then over here on the left, this is our slide panel. So this is where all your slides are, and this is going to be the thumbnail view. And you can do a lot of actions over here on the side. You can rearrange them by clicking and dragging. So I can click on the slide and drag it to another position. I can add another scene, so add like another slide. I can swap it. Whenever it says swap, that means that you're changing that for another. So if I click swap, then I could change this scene or this slide with another one over here, and it'll give me some options for that as well. I can also click here, and this will add a transition. So again, with Powtoons, if I hover over the effects, it'll give me an example of what the effect would look like. So I can change the effects that it has between slides, so the transitions. Then up here at the top, this is your top bar where you have your quick menu over here that we've seen before. We have an edit and create. So right now we're in edit mode because this is a template. And so with the template, it kind of gives you a simplified version of Powtoons where you're just editing the text and maybe the objects that you see on here. So you can swap out the objects for whichever ones that you want, but that's pretty much all that you're doing. If you want to create it, then you would click this and click create. And then it gives you more options of how you can edit this slide. And then we've got here, this is where you can edit objects. We have our undo and our redo. This is the title of your project, your Powtoon. And then over here on the right, you have save, preview, share, and export all over here. Then there's also, so when you create a new Powtoon, like a brand new one, there's different kind of looks that you can have. You can have modern edge, whiteboard, cartoon, infographic, and reel. So right now we're in the cartoon look, just FYI. So now that we're in the create mode, you have this panel all over here. And this panel is your access to everything that you want to edit onto your screen. So this is essentially your entry point to all the content. There's scenes. So again, the scenes are basically like a template for this specific slide. So you can change that if you want and change how this slide or this scene looks. Or you can be more specific. You can change how the background looks. You can change how the text looks. There's a lot of really fun options for creating the text. You can do really fun kind of video titles. You can do text elements where it's like a little speech bubble, or you have bullet points, and so much more. You can also add in characters. So I could add another person that goes in here with her. Or if I wanted to swap her, I click on her, I click swap, and then I click her new character. So if I want her to look more like me, I'll click one of these boxes. So this one's free. And I know that one of the health and safety ones has a little person that looks like me. And she gets swapped in. And then that's also something that's really cool with these characters is that you can change their emotions. So I can change their pose. So right now she's just waving. She's saying hello. She could be happy, sad. She could be explaining. If I don't want her explaining in that direction, I can flip it. So she's explaining to the other side. I can change making sure that she's locked. So this locks her in place. So as I move other objects around on the stage and I click on her, it won't accidentally move that character. And then I just click the lock again to unlock her. I can also add animation and kind of create an animation for how many times that she's explaining. Right now she's just in a loop, so that means she's just explaining over and over and over again, or I can just do it for a number amount of times. Then I can also have effects. Again, effects is just enter and exit. You can have a hand come in and bring her onto the screen. You can do this with any of the objects here. And then a really cool thing that you can also do with the objects on screen is move them from A to B. So let's say I want to move her while she's talking. And again, it's very intuitive. So we see two versions of the character. We see a dot with a line and an arrow. So the dot means that's the starting point. The arrow at the end is her end point. And that's also up here. So if I want to switch it, I just click that so that it's switched, or like that. And then I click anywhere to get out of that mode. And that will now bring us to our timeline. So down here at our timeline, this is just showing you the time for the entire slide. The minimum amount of seconds you can have per slide is 1 second, and you can go all the way up to 20 seconds. And remember, it's 3 minutes for an entire Powtoon video for the free version. So each of these boxes down here is representing a different object that's on the stage. And I can move these around. I can have them come in at different times. And then when you see the slant option here, or the blue slant, that's the transition that it has when it's entering. So it's enter effects. So if you have no effect, then that slant will go away. But if you want an effect, then you choose whichever effect that you want. And you can extend that as well. And have it go word by word, letter by letter, and so forth. So when we have a character move, like we had it move from point A to point B, we can change that timing as well. So it's hard to see because my mouse is there. But you see this dark blue shaded area down here? That is the amount of time that she is using, or that Powtoon is having her move. I can extend this to make it longer. I can make it shorter. And I can preview it by moving the little triangle here, pressing play, and you can see that she moves. If I want her to move slower, I click back here on this box, or I can click my character, and I click that shaded area with the 3 dots. So I extend the amount of seconds that she's moving, and that slows her down. So let me click the play button again, and we can see it. So now she's moving from point A to point B at a little bit of a slower pace. So down here at your timeline, this is where you are controlling where everything appears on the screen and how it appears on the screen. So that is the basic introduction to Powtoons. The only things that I haven't gone over yet are the props. These are like the clip arts that can go into Powtoons, kind of like a fun animated version of clip art. You can have different shapes, images, videos, and sounds. So when we go with sounds, you can add a voiceover to the slide, or you can add music. You can control the music down here with a little speaker button. So right now it has a theme here. I can delete it. Oh, but let's say if I didn't want to delete it, I'll undo that and it comes back. I can change the volume that it plays at for this slide so that when I share it or when I export it, that's the volume that it's going to play at. I can add a voiceover down here as well. And so I'll use a voiceover if I'm, giving this to my students and I want them to watch it when I'm not with them. So like teaching distantly. So if I like my Powtoons, then I would go over here to export. Well, I got to save it first. Let me save it and then go to export. So the pro version is the only one that you can download. So I would either give them the share link or I could upload it to YouTube for them to see. So that's the very basics of Powtoon. I showed you the stage. I showed you how to create a new one and where all these options are. There's a lot more that you can do with it, but those are the basics. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.